Okay. All right. Well, I apologize. So my name is Brendan Conrad, and this is going to be along with the mysticism cycle, the course for the Guardians Ascension cycle. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to start talking about some of the mind, body, and emotions that go into Qigong, yoga, and Tai Chi. Qigong, yoga, and meditation. Those are the three. So, and if you've seen the Ascension Cycle video or what it means to be a guardian video, we're going to build off some of those other concepts. And there we go. Which is, we have a mental self, we have an emotional self, and we have a physical self. And we're the consciousness that talks to our thoughts, that feels the feelings, and tells our body what to do. And so within that, we'll break down the structure of how to navigate working with our thoughts from a conscious level, how to have feelings from a conscious level, and how to act from a conscious level. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about meditation. Meditation is very common, and it's very often the first thing that we start with when we start to awaken. And what meditation actually teaches us to do is it teaches us to control the mind. It teaches us to control our thoughts, and it teaches us how to navigate that. And so when we do practice meditation, you're actually practicing gaining and releasing control over your thoughts. It's a muscle, and you got to flex it. And so when you practice meditating on something and you're active about it, and then you forget about it, and then you hold yourself back accountable and you get back into that space, focus on your breathing, and then you forget that you're like this because you're thinking about other things, and then you get your mind back focused on the breath. That action of gaining control and releasing control strengthens the muscle, just like you do anything else of flexing and releasing, push-ups, anything. So when we do meditation consciously in order to regain control over our thoughts. And now we'll talk about tomorrow, actually, on Wednesday, we talk about thoughts, and we'll break into all of this in greater detail. But the thought space that we have, we are responsible for that. We are responsible for everything that happens to the body. You are a byproduct of your thinking and your emotional aspects, as well as what you do and behave as a person. So we need to practice gaining and releasing control over our thoughts so we can have the types of thought form experiences that we want to have. Oftentimes, when we meditate, we astral travel and we go to a place and we have an experience. We swam with mermaids, or we met higher light energy. We saw past selves, we did all of this different experiencing, and we want to have that more actively because those are very positive experiences. They make us feel really good. We feel happy afterwards. But when we're not in control of our thoughts, we're daydreaming and we're thinking about stuff, and we don't even remember or know what we're thinking about. And when this happens and you're not in control of your thoughts, you oftentimes are probably having negative thought patterns that are going on, and you're not aware of it, and it doesn't make you feel good. But as soon as you gain awareness of the thought pattern, then you can curb it and you can fix it, and you can say, I don't like the way I'm thinking. This isn't healthy. This doesn't promote positivity to others. Let's change this. Maybe you're driving and somebody cuts you off, and your first reaction is to have negative thoughts at the person. Bad driver, you need to be more careful, or whatever. You're mean to them, and you're become suddenly aware that you're having all of these secondary thoughts that are negative and hurtful towards others. Your responsibility is to fix that. And how do you fix that? Is you tell yourself positive thinking about the other person and about the situation around you. It's no. We're not going to think bad about this person. We're not going to talk negatively. They're probably in a hurry. They're probably late for work. They have something going on. in their reality that's clearly making them have to drive recklessly. Now that's very dangerous, and that's very dangerous to people around them. So then we can also project that they get there safely, they can ride there on time, and they can make their needs and their like ambitions met, and they can satiate that rush energy at the end. The people around them are going to be safe from their current, and they're not going to have any accidents. We can create this in our mind and hope that that's the outcome, as well as ourselves, and practice even better situational awareness and safety and drive consciously. Paying attention to the vehicles around us, we'll know that people are coming in and then they're like entering our field very quickly, so we can drive a little bit more cautious, and we can give them the space so that way they can go where they got to go in the timely manner and satiate that. And so when we practice meditating, that's what we're doing, is we're practicing gaining and releasing control over our thoughts, so we as the conscious can have the type of thought patterns that align with our higher belief system aspects. Now we're going to move into Qigong. If you guys are familiar with Qigong, Qigong focuses on moving the energy around the emotional field. Our emotions get very congested every day. Every day we have experiences. From the time you wake up, you're making choices, to the time you go to sleep, you're making choices. You don't ever stop getting exposed to emotional stress, like all the way. Like you might be very happy about something, and then the next phone call you're sad about it, and then you have like stress because of responsibilities coming up, but you just finished a massage, so you're doing like really good. And so like you have all of these different crescendos of energy, emotional energy, that are constantly wavering through you all day long. And when you're subconscious to it and you're just having the feelings, you're just along for the ride. You're like very happy, then you're like mad, and you're like frustrated, and then you're crying, and then you're like going through this whole wave of emotions without being aware that the emotions are a byproduct of the experience that you're having, physical thing. And so when we practice Qigong, we practice like grounding, moving the energy down into the earth. So whatever emotional energy or energies in our field that we're picking up through our emotional centers is now getting organized, and it's not so chaotic, and we can be happy, but also understanding of like the negative aspect or whatever too. So it's not so like highs and lows, and now we're just doing more of like a middle ground where we're like floating in the middle land, and we're aware, and we're like riding that storm and having the experience appropriately. Again, you want to be conscious of your feelings that you're having. The whole reason we're here on this planet is to become conscious as beings and to enjoy the experience. If you're not present, you're not enjoying the experience. You're just secondary riding subconscious, while the rest of your aspects are programming or going through programmed repetition and habits. We want to be in the experience, doing something new, having that adrenaline rush, being very present. And that comes from having emotional awareness. And so anytime we're practicing Qigong in any form, we're moving the energy around our field, and we're stabilizing that into a form of harmony so it can get processed out of our field without us owning that energy. And we're just very subconscious. And now I'm stressed tomorrow because of the stressors today never got released. And so that's where when we practice Qigong actively, it's going to start to move through and navigate our emotional energy that we're receiving through these secondary inputs. And then we have the last aspect, which is the physical form. And this comes from the practice of yoga. Yoga gets us in the body. We start to stretch, we start to feel ourselves, we start to contort ourselves into different ways, and where we don't normally do that when we're just going through the daily cycle of life. And it's very important that we get in the body and tune in with how I'm feeling. When you're doing yoga, you're doing stretches, you're doing these workouts, you start to recognize like, this doesn't feel good. I have a sore over here, or my muscles like are extra like tight. And you start to recognize the body symptoms of what your body is going through, and to work on stretching those muscles out, maybe holding the pose a little bit extra so your energy centers can like realign. Because as we like move and we get contorted in our body, it does bring our energy centers out of line, and we're not moving this as cleanly and getting new energy cycle through our body. And so when we hold these different poses, it's like rebending and like positioning all of these centers so that way our physical self can get back into alignment. And that represents in like posture and like backaches or body aches or anything that manifests through the bodily symptoms. So when we're going through our daily routines, it's extremely important that we are mindful of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And we need to put daily attention on our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions so that way we can become conscious. And being conscious knows what you're thinking any given time. When you don't know what you're thinking, it's because you're subconscious. And it can be very hard. Like these are very high standard, but this is what it like would look like on a very high note is you would know every thought that you had every day, all day long, if you were conscious. But the fact that we're subconscious, we have secondary thoughts, and then we come back in and we ask the body what was going on. And then you're holding the self accountable, and your cells are saying and trying to reiterate what the thoughts were, trying to bring back from memory what the thoughts were. And so these are all reprograms being relayed and recycled back around to the consciousness because the consciousness was off, busy doing something else and not being present. And so as we move forward in our experience, we need to take into consideration what we're feeling, what we're thinking, what we're doing, and apply the right type of medicine to what the bodily needs are. If you're having a day that's very toxified with negative thoughts, practice meditation that night. Make that your thing for the night. So that way you can practice healthy release of those thoughts. You can sit with them, you can feel them, you can think them, you can hold them accountable, you can actually process them appropriately. If you're having a very like emotionally stressful day and it's charging up and down, it's like all around or whatever, then practice Qigong and move the energy around your field and like harmonize and ground that. If you're having like body symptoms, you like woke up sore, your back's hurting, you're like, don't feel good. If there's bodily symptoms going on, make sure you practice yoga and you like allow yourself to stretch, you allow yourself to flex and like get your body loosen back into that state of like natural rhythm. So pretty much like it's very simple, it's very brief. As a guardian, we practice these things daily. We make this part of our life cycle. We pay attention to ourselves, we pay attention to our health, we pay attention to our well-being, and we apply the needs that we need as a body. We don't do something irresponsible. We don't like feed ourselves candy when we need healthy sweets because we know that that's going to satiate our body's needs. And we're here to take care of the vessel. We're here to take care of our temple. We're here to take care of our bodies. And so paying attention to what we need and acting appropriately so that way our mental condition can get addressed, it can get taken care of. Maybe you need to read more books, you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you need to explore new hobbies so your mental self can get stimulated and satiated. And you're going to watch less TV, you're going to play less games, you're going to do less mind, like subconscious based activities because you're getting the stimulation in your experience that's keeping you present because you're excited to learn, you're excited to do these things, you're looking forward and you're present during them. And so I lost my train of thought. With our emotional self, oftentimes we need emotional connection. We need to have our emotions validated and felt and heard. Anybody can do this, even yourself. You can sit with your emotions, you can have your emotions, cry in the car on your way home, allow yourself to feel the way you're feeling and not try to hold that in, not try to suppress that, not try to take that back. Just hold on to the way that you're feeling and let that energy go. And then just like ground and release and process and do like twists and like let your yoga or your Qigong naturally process that down and transmute that into a state of harmony. Remember again from our initial Guardians class that we are always every day processing energy from one space to another. And it's you who's deciding how that energy gets translated. Energy is coming in and it might be negative and you're getting projected negative energy. If you let that same energy go out negatively, then that energy is getting filtered through and amplified back out. If you're holding that energy accountable, then that energy actually goes through a transmutation process and you're filtering and acting out in a positive way. Even though there's negative energy coming in, you're acting as a positive being. And that's natural transmutation of energy. And we do this every day, all the time. This is why there's so many celestial beings incarnated into human bodies, because no matter what you're doing, you're always processing and receiving energy from your environment. And most of us, all of us are like naturally positive beings. We naturally just hold on to the negative and we try to act appropriately. We try to act in the right ways and we do what we can do to not allow this negativity to be manifested out. And so we're always naturally transmuting energy. It's about being conscious or subconscious over it and learning the needs of these energies so that way you can release them in a healthy way that's not toxifying your own body while not letting other people feel hurt by your words. It's allowing your honesty to see like what is going on and to use your words responsibly with intelligence and consciousness so that way you can be heard and other people can understand and grow through their lessons at the same time. So it's a combination of how we think, how we feel creates the form of action in what we do. And if we're in alignment with our thoughts, we're in alignment with our feelings, and we're in alignment with our physical self, we're gonna be more in alignment in a realm of positivity where everything you see, everything you encounter, and everything you feel is in alignment with positivity. When negative energy comes into your space, the reason why it gets to your consciousness is because of what we allow, and our boundaries are so low that it's just pushes right through into our conscious space. But when we're so far in alignment, by the time the energy is coming through its space, it has to realign to meet with you on a vibration in which you resonate. So when you're in alignment over here, the energy is going to shift from maybe negativity as it enters your space into positivity. So by the time it even hits your conscious field, it's in a positive vibratory state and you're feeling positive energy, you're feeling love, and you're seeing this in your environment. People holding the door for you, people are saying please and thank you and giving you compliments. You're going to see this manifested on the physical level as well as how you feel about it and what you think about it. So as we move forward into the forthcoming classes, we're going to break down into thoughts. We're going to have a whole day where we just work on thought form energy, holding our thoughts accountable, recognizing thoughts, releasing thoughts, transmuting thoughts. We're going to get into the weeds of the thoughts. Same thing with the emotions. We're going to do emotions on Thursday, and Fridays we're going to put it all together and we're going to focus on that physical aspect and how we can show up better as on our physical self and get into this physical body and reprogram a lot of these subconscious programs that we have created in life as we've learned to navigate the needs that we have not getting met. So I hope you guys enjoyed the class, and if you have any questions, just send a comment in the chat box and we'll address that and build that into the next questions and building up so I know where everybody's at and what everybody's understandings are. And then we'll just keep building this up into us moving into this state of harmony together and releasing all of our emotional fears, our emotional hurts, releasing the thoughts that are holding us down and suppressing us, and releasing the actions that no longer serve us so we can act and behave and think and feel in the way that aligns with who we are as spiritual light beings. All right. Well, thank you very much. And I hope you guys have a good day.